Guys, that is a beautiful, smiling, healthy, beautiful baby boy that had so much promise and deserved every opportunity to grow up and be something great in this world. We'd like to welcome you guys to the AFC podcast where we advocate for children first. We're going to talk about that beautiful little boy and the person that was supposed to be there and the person that should know how hard fathers have it in the United States of America, in our society, especially in 2020. All of the stuff that we've been going through, all of the stuff that we've been advocating for to try to make sure and get people to care more about fathers, allow fathers to come into their children's lives. For something like this to happen is absolutely asinine at this point. A Clemens father, a man, and this heathen is facing charges of first-degree murder in the death of his own nearly 3-month-old son. That fucking idiot right here on my screen. Excuse my language for the people that are not able to deal with the language. His name is Brandon Scott McDaniel. I was able to find some of his information on Facebook, but he only had like one post on there. So maybe somebody got in there and deleted it. I don't know. He's 20 years old, relatively young, of Forest Line Drive in Clemens, and was initially charged with felony child abuse. That was before his son succumbed to his injuries, but he was charged with inflicting serious physical injury on Monday after he sought medical care for his son, that baby right there, Sloan Prescott McDaniel. Sloan, S-L-O-A-N, Prescott McDaniel. He wasn't even 3 months old. At the time, Sloan was 2 months and 27 days old. Now, according to an arrest warrant, McDaniel was accused of assaulting his son, resulting in bleeding on Sloan's brain. And I want y'all to look at this baby's photos. And while you guys are here, please click the thumbs up out of respect and share this stream. Let other people know that we're live telling the story about this baby, because I feel like his story is important. And I really would like to have more people hear about this baby's story. Because a lot of times I talk about parents being physical with their children, because a lot of us grew up in an era where we know what it's like to get spankings, whoopings, beatings, hit with things, parents reacting out of anger, or parents so-called disciplining us physically. And I've always encouraged people, even though I grew up in that era and I understand that era probably better than anybody does, I still advocate for something better. And I believe that's what it takes. I believe that's what it takes in order to make our society better. Is just because it was good enough for me, don't mean that I should pass those things down to my children. How many of my good parents out there understand what I'm saying? Maybe some people don't. But how many of my good parents out there understand that if you were given shit, it doesn't mean that it's okay for your children to be served shit? Right? We live in the most progressive, technologically advanced age ever in history, but yet we resort to Neanderthal tactics and methods of being able to raise human beings. And I know we can do better than this, because what you're starting to see as a trend, and the picture that I'm painting with my brush on my canvas, is an image that I want people to understand that this is going to be the result. Because sometimes you do not know your own strength when it comes to dealing with small children, right? Sometimes you don't know the level of damage that you inflict on them, whether it be something physical or whether it be something emotional. Some people are never able to recover from that, and you really will never know until something culminates from that. That's kind of my point. So I just encourage people to just hear my voice, look at my examples, and just understand that there cannot ever be an excuse. And I want people to also understand when it comes to spanking and beating children, you only do that because they're small enough to not be able to speak for themselves and not strong enough to be able to defend themselves. I recently did a story about a group of children, one being a 3-year-old boy that was watching his 2-year-old sister get choked to death by his mother, and he went to go try to fight his mom off to save his baby sister's life. And that's a real story. You can actually go back in my feed and go back and look at that story and watch it and listen to it. If that boy were strong enough, he would have been able to stop his mom. That's why you generally beat children before they're preteens. 12, 11, 10, 9, preteen and below, because once they cross that threshold, now they're big enough to defend themselves. And I believe that if we really believe that being physical was that damn important, then why don't you do it to a kid that's 17, 18, 19 years old, 20 years old that lives in your house? You know why? Because they're big enough to speak for themselves and they're big enough to put a foot in your ass. To me, that signifies a bully mentality. I don't know if everybody's going to agree with that. I have no idea how everybody is going to absorb what I just said, or even if they have the ability to be open-minded enough tonight to just hear what I have to say about that, okay? This baby boy had bleeding on his brain. That means his father hit him and caused blunt force trauma. Multiple serious injuries yet to be diagnosed. The arrest warrant said that the assault happened recently on a Sunday. Sloan died on a Thursday, and according to the news release from Forsyth County Sheriff's Office, McDaniel, the biological father, was charged with first-degree murder. That means the charges were upgraded. First-degree murder, y'all already know what that means. Either life in prison or potentially the death penalty. Okay? He's now being held without bond. Glad he didn't get a bond at Forsyth County Jail, and his next court date is February the 6th. He's scheduled to appear in Forsyth District Court on the child abuse charge on January the 30th, which is in 2 days. Debbie McCaffrey, Sloan's grandmother, declined to comment on the criminal case, but she did leave a quote, if I can read that for you guys real quick. She said, "I would like for the people to know that we're very grateful for every day that we got to spend with the baby Sloan." She said Friday. "He was a true blessing and a beautiful and happy baby boy. Sloan loved to giggle and laugh and enjoy kicking his legs and rolling all over," McCaffrey said. "It's a sweet time when babies are starting to come into themselves," she said. "He had a sweet personality. The family is in the process of making funeral arrangements, and there is a GoFundMe for the people that are concerned. I will pull that up and show you guys that here in a minute because I believe that they did reach their goal. So I can pull that up and show you guys. Give me a moment. And while you guys are here, if we could, let's get about a couple of hundred thumbs up for the people that are watching. We got enough people here to do it. So if we could, everybody click that thumbs up. Let me go ahead and show you guys this GoFundMe. I'm not sure if it'll be big enough for you guys to see that. They had a goal of $5,000. That seems to be pretty typical for GoFundMes. And they've raised over that amount. So it looks like they at least got the amount that they were looking for. And they did leave some additional information. So it looks like it was written properly. So I'm glad for that. They left some contact information and an email address, which is pretty unique. But I'm not going to bother them. I don't really want to burden them any more than what they already probably are going through. Okay? But there is a GoFundMe page up. The impact that his 3 months of life had on me and his mom and those who loved him and cared for him was profound, and we cherished every day that we got to spend with him, she said. Now, news of the baby boy's passing sparked several reactions online, including ours, everybody in the chat, including questions about where the boy's mother is. That sounds like something we would do here at the AFC, because generally we're always asking hashtag where's the father, hashtag where's the mom, hashtag babies for benefits, hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Right? Those are all of our hashtags. We always ask pertinent questions. Where's the mother and her people? I'm so confused, an Instagram user wrote. Such a cruel world. Rest in peace, little baby, somebody else said. Somebody said, it's so effing sad. Some people don't need children. Throw him under the jail, someone else wrote. Sloan's family is in the process of planning a celebration of life for him. The GoFundMe page was set up to help with funeral costs, and McDaniel remains in jail without bond. Let me go ahead and run these fair usages for you. And if anybody decides to utilize the links in the description box, I did get those. I'm going to read those off for you here in a second. But let me go ahead and give you guys the fair usage and go ahead and start our videos. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Now, y'all know I can't really do the music. Maybe I could find some other kind of music. I can't get flagged for the music. Give me a second. I could find something else. But yeah, YouTube is going to hit us for that music. But I wanted you guys to kind of take a look at some of these photos real quick. Let me see if I can find something else different to play. Anything else. So there's the mom right there. So for the people that are wondering, that looks like the mom right there. I would love to know where she's at. Yep, that's the mom. I don't have a name for her, but that's the biological mom. Let you guys take a look at some of these pictures because this video was very, very hard for me to download, but I was able to get it. He's a beautiful baby boy. And again, I'm going to say hi to everybody in the chat. What's going on to you guys? How y'all doing? I'll tell you what I'll do. What I'll do is I will run this right at the end of the show. Let's go ahead and start with the news videos.
Remembering all of the beautiful moments that we had with him, his smile and his giggle that he had just sort of found here recently.
An infectious laugh, a toothless smile that could melt the heart of anyone. Debbie McCaffrey describes how Sloan McDaniel touched her, but she says her love for him was much greater.
He just had a way of sort of coming into your heart and grabbing a hold of it.
On January 13th, Forsyth County authorities believe Sloan's father, Brandon McDaniel, seriously hurt Brandon at his home in Clemens. The 20-year-old took his son to Brenner Children's Hospital. Doctors discovered the 3-month-old had injuries, showing signs of child abuse. Authorities were called in and Brandon was arrested. Sloan passed away on Thursday. For Debbie, being Sloan's godmother was something that she treasured.
We were rejoicing over his life, and he continued to carry that joy into our lives through his amazing personality over the course of the last 3 months of his life.
She knows she'll never be able to hold Sloan or pinch his cheeks again. Those memories will stay with her because he will always be with her.
It was just pure bliss, and I'm just grateful to have had any type of part of his life whatsoever. It's truly one of the greatest privileges of my life.
Carly, thank you. Tonight, a family is trying to heal after deputies say a father killed his infant boy. Let's go to Steve King. He is live with details on the investigation into the death of little Sloan McDaniel. Steve, good evening.
Good evening, Kenny. Well, 3-month-old Sloan McDaniel had 2 godmothers, and they both describe him as pure joy. And they say they're going to do their best to try to heal, knowing that they're never going to be able to see his precious smile ever again.
I'm sad. I'm sad. This is a hard time. But I'm also grateful for his life, so we are focusing on that.
This baby was born just over 3 months ago. On Monday, he was taken to Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center by his father. That day, deputies arrested that man, 20-year-old Brandon Scott McDaniel, for felony child abuse. On Thursday, the infant died from his injuries, and Brandon McDaniel was charged with first-degree murder. Investigators say the deadly abuse happened at the father's home on Forest Line Drive in Clemens. Sloan's godparents say they're trying to focus on celebrating the boy's life. as difficult as that may be.
We are all still processing. Everyone is still in shock, and we're just going to step back, realize that it's not in our hands anymore.
For the family, we are all focused on celebrating Sloan's life and remembering all of the beautiful moments that we had with him, his smile and his giggle that he had just sort of found here recently.
And Sloan's family absolutely adored him.
He was pure joy, just the chubbiest, sweetest, most beautiful boy. He was one of the happiest babies I've ever spent time around.
I was pleased to know Sloan for the short 3 months that I did.
Now they're trying to heal together.
It's just been really, really hard to realize the reality of the situation, but we have all just been able to cry together and to love together and to realize that, like, he's in a better place and he's not in pain, and that's what matters.
Meanwhile, Brandon McDaniel appeared in court this morning for the first time. His next court date is February 6th. Now, there are some ways you can help the family during this difficult time, and to find out how, just visit our website, WXII12.com.
Now, because they haven't actually gone through the court proceedings yet, I'm sure we'll end up hearing a motive. There had to have been a motive. There had to have been something that sparked this. And I know I definitely want to know. And I want to know where the mom was, like what was going on, like those intricate details. That's usually the things that I like to tell in these stories, and we just don't have that information. So we're going to have to wait. We might have to do an update to this. Because for him to have that many caring adults, that many caring women, that many caring mothers around, this was absolutely inexcusable.
Reporting live in Forsyth County, Steve King, WXII 12 News.
Tonight, a Forsyth County family is figuring out what's next. Deputies say a man killed his infant son. Sloan McDaniel was just 3 months old. He died yesterday, just days after his father, Brandon McDaniel, took him to the hospital.
Now, the 20-year-old is in jail without bond, facing murder charges. Steve King spoke with the baby's two godmothers who say the little boy was pure joy.
I'm sad. This is a hard time, but I'm also grateful for his life. So we are focusing on that.
This baby was born just over 3 months ago. On Monday, he was taken to Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center by his father. That day, deputies arrested that man, 20-year-old Brandon Scott McDaniel, for felony child abuse. On Thursday,
Somebody in the chat said that he killed him because it was a black baby. I think it's a little bit deeper than the surface. Let me ask you guys this. Matter of fact, while we got 150 likes, can we please get just over 200 likes? And just let me know every once in a while. Thank you, Ms. Bossy P, and for everybody that's been updating me. For the people that are listening right now, can you please go ahead and click that thumbs up? And thank you to everybody that's already clicked it. Just look down. If you haven't, just touch that button. That'll help me out quite a bit. Let's try to get at least 200 thumbs up. But for the people that are asking, how many of y'all believe that he did this because this baby was black? I love to hear from you guys. Hello, talk to me. Where's my chat at? How many of you people in the chat right now believe that this young white male, Brandon McDaniel, murdered this baby because the baby was black and by a black mom? What do y'all think? Let's take a vote. I'll wait for you guys. I know y'all about 30 seconds behind me. How many of y'all think that's what it had to do with? Y'all think he hated his black son? Y'all think that maybe his white part of the family or friends was maybe poking fun at him or maybe bullied him into having a certain mentality? What do y'all think? I think it's deeper than that. You think he's racist? Even though his baby mama black? Or wife or girlfriend, whatever she was. Maybe he just slept with her once. We don't know. There's a lot of stuff we don't know because mama ain't stepped up and did an interview and spoke out and said anything, which I do not like. I'll tell you what I think. Y'all are still posting your thoughts in the chat, but I'll tell you what I think. He's 20 years old. He probably just started working, probably just got out of the house and started to get out on his own. And he probably found out as soon as he signed that birth certificate, that birth certificate, for the men that do not know out there, that is a legally binding contract with the state that you live in. Pay attention and look before you just sign your name on some shit. Okay? Birth certificates are more than just information that provides about the kid. It also locks in the biological father to a legally binding contract with the state under Title 4-D. Uh-oh. Thank you, Jay Shy. Child support. Can somebody else say it in the chat? Child support. Child support. Based on his age and based on the fact that he probably did not have a lot of finances, more times than none, when mothers have children outside of wedlock, you automatically get put on child support. Some people think that this had something to do with race, and I think it's much, much deeper than that. I think what we're looking at is something that Tommy has been talking about for God knows since he started on YouTube. He even has a movie out called A Fatherless America. The biggest problem that men face is this legal system that is putting men into a bind, no matter whether you're rich or whether you're poor. And I'm going to say that again. It doesn't matter whether you don't have a dime. They're still going to take whatever child support they can get and put up this balance on top of your head, right? Even if you're broke. If you're making $100,000 a year, they're going to base it on your income. Thank you, R. Soto. Yep. They're going to base it on your income. So guess what? It's the only system in America that works that way. If you are working a job, you're just like, you know what? They're taking almost all of my check. I can't live for myself. So what I have to do is I have to go get another job. And as soon as you go get that other job, what's going to happen? They're going to do an adjustment and take more money. Isn't that something? You go make more money, they'll just go take more. So let's just say you just like, you know what? Been on child support 10 years. I'm paying my thing. I'm doing what I got to do. Now I'm all of a sudden, I become a millionaire because I've created an invention. Now all of a sudden I have a lot more money now that I can take care of myself. Guess what they do? File for an adjustment and take more money from you. For the people that might not understand the gravity of the situation and the immense pressure that a lot of men and young men and boys essentially are going through, is because they look at it as their lives are ruined. And it causes them to do dumb shit. I think it's bigger than what we're seeing. We can look at this and say, this is a black and white thing. I look at this as a much bigger thing. Now, granted, he could have just taken his own life and this could have been over and done with and everybody could have moved on. But the fact that this young boy, because he's a boy to me, he's barely 20 years old. To me, he was not in a position to be a father, and he should have been a hell of a lot more responsible. But you damn sure don't leave somebody with a feeble mentality around children. How many of you guys understand that? Too immature. Thank you, Knight Rider. That's what I was trying to say. It's too young and too fucking immature to deal with a baby that's going to cry, that's going to be teething, for a baby that needs to be changed, for a baby that needs to be fed, for a baby that needs to be burped, for a baby that needs to be cared for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When you have a child in your possession by yourself, it will work your nerves. That's why being a parent, to all the single people out there that are parents, Being a parent was never meant to be done outside of wedlock, because at least you had some form of a guarantee, a social construct that guaranteed that you were going to have more than just one person there. A social construct. Because it takes more than two people to raise these babies, let alone just having a single parent in the household and just think everything is going to be okay magically. No, it's not. People need a break. I cannot tell you guys, I was 4.5 years older than him when I had my daughter. Shout out to my baby, by the way. She knows this story. But babies, especially being very young, will work your nerves. My mom just instinctively knew to just come by the house, come check on me. She would just pop up at my apartment and she'd just be like, I'm going to give you a break. I'm going to take the baby. I said, okay. I said, all right. Yeah, I really haven't had any sleep. Fine, take her. And I'm going to tell you guys, it did wonders for me, not only being able to get sleep, but making sure that I gave my daughter the best of me. You do not, yeah, anything can happen. You could just snap in an instance. What I'm saying is I had a lot more help and a lot more sense. That's why for these young boys out here, they have to be a hell of a lot more responsible. These young men have to be more responsible with their seed. If you don't want to be a parent, then put your seeds up. Where are my ladies out there that can attest? Where are my men out there that know how to be responsible? If you're not ready to be a father, put your seeds up. Put your dicks up. Put your seeds up. These women that you don't want to have kids by cannot have kids if you're not being reckless with your seeds. Period. You can't act like you don't know. You see that we have 80% of our children being born outside of wedlock. You cannot tell me that Brandon McDaniel did not realize, oh, I'm out here fucking without no condom. I didn't know I was going to get a baby. Yeah, you did, motherfucker. You goddamn did. And you took your irresponsibility and put it off on that innocent little kid, that baby, that child. Look at his smile. There was absolutely nothing he could have done to deserve what he got. And it seemed like you had every opportunity to put that baby in somebody else's hands and have somebody help you. And I can guarantee you guys, based on the way that those parents talked and those grandmothers and cousins and aunties talked, he had all the help he needed. He made a selfish decision and a foolish decision. And guess what? I think he needs to be in the NASA program, and I think they need to launch his ass into space and see how well he can live and breathe in space. That's my personal opinion. Let's keep going.
Infant died from his injuries, and Brandon McDaniel was charged with first-degree murder. Investigators say the deadly abuse happened at the father's home on Forest Line Drive in Clemens. Sloan's godparents say they're trying to focus on celebrating the boy's life, as difficult as that may be.
We are all still processing. Everyone is still in shock. And we're just going to step back, realize that it's not in our hands anymore.
For the family, we are all focused on celebrating Sloan's life and remembering all of the beautiful moments that we had with him, his smile and his giggle that he had just sort of found here recently.
And Sloan's family absolutely adored him.
He was pure joy, just the chubbiest, sweetest, most beautiful boy. He was one of the happiest babies I've ever spent time around.
I was pleased to know Sloan for the short 3 months that I did.
Now they're trying to heal together.
It's just been really, really hard to realize the reality of the situation, but we have all just been able to cry together.
And I'll tell you guys this, for the people that always wonder why do these stories always have to be so sad, more than anything, we want to raise awareness. My job is not here to make you guys sad or to make you guys cry, and I'm sure Most people already understand that. The point of being here is to raise awareness. That's why we have advocacy groups like momsboyfriend.com, Illicit Deeds, Our Lives Matter. My brother Tommy Sotomayor, who came out with an entire movie talking about this, A Fatherless America. My brother Relationship Rehab, who touches on this all the time. All of the child advocate pages, including Extreme Murder and Headlines, and United We Stand Against Child Abuse, who also posted this story. The whole point is to make sure that we get the exposure and to make sure that we raise awareness for these babies, because they can't speak for themselves. They cannot defend themselves. And there's so much in the news and in the world that causes these stories to get overshadowed. And we want to raise awareness to realize this is what's going on. So that way, if we see something, we can know to say something, right?
And to love together and to realize that, like, he's in a better place and he's not in pain. And that's what matters.
That was Steve King reporting for us there. The suspect in this case, Brandon McDaniel, did go before a judge today. He's due back in court in early February.
Right now at noon, we're...
AH says men often hurt babies. I don't know, but babies belong with women, period. Well, apparently you have not ever watched any videos on my channel before. Because I can tell you probably about 80 to 90% of the stories on my channel are of mothers killing their children. Lots of them. Does anybody have access to the Brittany Big Belly Bowens emoji? Have you ever heard of that story? Just saying. Have you guys ever heard of the Anaya Day Garrett story? Just curious. Maybe you haven't. Maybe this is AH's first time here. I don't know. But a lot of people here that have been watching this channel for a long time can tell AH the majority of the stories that we have been sent, that we have been talking about, and it does not apply to all women, and it doesn't apply to all black women, but it does apply to a whole bunch of women. A lot of them. More than I could even count. Just saying. But just make sure you know, I'd say research that statement before you make another statement like that, because I just think that you're just saying stuff that's not true, and it makes me wonder who else you're telling that kind of stuff to. Because that's far from the truth. That's not even a fair statement to say all men do this. That's not even possible, because the majority of fathers don't even have custody of their kids. That's a fact. No, I'm not getting upset. I'm just saying it's a fact. Most biological fathers do not have access to their children. So how is it possible to beat them and kill them if you don't have access? So maybe AH can explain that, or maybe at least give a little more detail. But I do watch what y'all write, and I just address stuff if I see it. If I feel like it's important enough to talk about, then I'll address it. Otherwise, I'll just let you guys kind of give your opinions, though.
Following breaking news in Forsyth County, charges have been upgraded against a father in the death of his infant son. 20-year-old Brandon McDaniel is now facing a count of first-degree murder. He was charged with felony child abuse. The sheriff's office says McDaniel took his son to the hospital on Monday for treatment of injuries. That infant died yesterday. Investigators have not revealed the extent of the child's injuries to McDaniel.
I don't even think a lot of these mothers have any problem with men being violent, considering the fact that we have a hashtag, when you date thugs, you date what? Anybody remember? Hello, chat. Are y'all live out there? Are y'all listening? What's my hashtag? When you date thugs, you date death. What does that hashtag mean? That hashtag means that women are choosing violent ass men to procreate with. You can't sit there and say, oh, he treats the kid bad. Well, but the dude ain't shit. You can't have a baby by a dude that ain't shit and then wonder why he behaves like he ain't shit. It starts when they're children. When children do not have their biological fathers in their lives, they grow up and they don't see an image of what they should grow up into be. They don't have anything that they aspire to be. They don't have any value in themselves. They don't have any value in which they see themselves in. Then they go out into the world and they project that inner hurt, those inner feelings out on everybody else, and they hurt everybody around them. That's where it starts. It starts at home.
Right now at noon, we're following breaking news in Forsyth County. Charges have been upgraded against a father in the death of his infant son. 20-year-old Brandon McDaniel is now facing a count of first-degree murder. He was charged with felony child abuse. The sheriff's office says McDaniel took his son to the hospital on Monday for treatment of injuries. That infant died yesterday. Investigators have not revealed the extent of the child's injuries. McDaniel is in the Forsyth County Jail with no bond.
From WXII 12 News, this is breaking news.
Leading off at 6 with breaking news out of Wilson County, east of Raleigh, where a 14-year-old is facing up to 40 charges. Deputies say the teen shot at passing cars on U.S. Highway 264 and did so with a high-powered pellet rifle. Detective used the locations that people gave them in phone calls over the last few days.
Wait, that's not the right story. Let's skip forward a little bit.
And found makeshift.
Headed to dinner and pictures today after morning.
His
There we go.
Expected, but it's not going to be a widespread winter event. We're talking very little to no impact even out towards the west as well. So we'll talk about those totals and also the timing for tomorrow coming up in a few minutes.
Come on, come on.
Carly, thank you. Tonight, a family is trying to heal after deputies say a father killed his infant boy. Let's go to Steve King. He is live with details on the investigation into the death of little Sloan McDaniel. Steve, good evening.
Good evening, Kenny. Well, 3-month-old Sloan McDaniel had 2 godmothers, and they both describe him as pure joy. And they say they're going to do their best to try to heal, knowing that they're never going to be able to see his precious smile ever again.
I'm sad. I'm sad. This is a hard time. But I'm also grateful for his life. So we are focusing on that.
This baby was born just over 3 months ago. On Monday, he was taken to Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center by his father. That day, deputies arrested that man, 20-year-old Brandon Scott McDaniel, for felony child abuse. On Thursday, the infant died from his injuries, and Brandon McDaniel was charged with first-degree murder. Investigators say the deadly abuse happened at the father's home on Forest Line Drive in Clemens. Sloan's godparents say they're trying to focus on celebrating the boy's life, as difficult as that may be.
We are all still processing. Everyone is still in shock. And we're just going to step back, realize that it's not in our hands anymore.
For the family, we are all focused on celebrating Sloan's life and remembering all of the beautiful moments that we had with him, his smile and his giggle that he had just sort of found here recently.
And Sloan's family absolutely adored him.
He was pure joy, just the chubbiest, sweetest, most beautiful boy. He was one of the happiest babies I've ever spent time around.
I was pleased to know Sloan for the short 3 months that I did.
Now they're trying to heal together.
It's just been really, really hard to realize the reality of the situation, but we have all just been able to cry together and to love together and to realize that, like, he's in a better place and he's not in pain, and that's what matters.
Meanwhile, Brandon McDaniel appeared in court this morning for the first time. His next court date is February 6th. Now, there are some ways you can help the family during this difficult time, and to find out how, just visit our website, WXII12.com. Reporting live in Forsyth County, Steve King, WXII 12 News.
Steve, thank you. Life or death, it is the hardest decision loved ones of a Yadkin.
All right, let's go ahead and stop it right there. I'm going to let a little bit of this video roll so you guys can kind of see some of the pictures of this little baby here. So I'll let some more of these pictures roll a little bit. Let me, because they had music playing. I'll turn this on a little bit. But again, to the biological father, Brandon Scott McDaniel, I mean, what he did was inexcusable. There's a good chance that that young father has ended his life, and he's probably either going to get life in prison or the death penalty. And to be honest with you, I just think that those type of charges and those type of judgments should be a cautionary tale for these people whenever they think about getting frustrated or they think about being physical, that you need to understand that there are real life consequences, and understand that these innocent lives and these babies did not do anything to deserve what they got. They cannot speak for themselves, nor can they defend themselves against the tyranny of their caretakers. So he's gonna have a couple of court dates coming up here. If I can give you guys those court dates again. So currently he has no bail. He is going to have a court date on January the 30th and February the 6th. So that way that you guys can follow that story and make sure and kind of follow it and see what happens. If there are any major other updates, I would definitely make sure and let you guys know. I would love to know where the biological mother was in this situation, what the nature of their relationship was. Were they together? Were they living together? Or anything else like that? To the parents, like, I want to know what he did for a living. There's so much that I want to know that we just are not privy of as far as the information right now. But all I know is that little life right there did not deserve what he got. And I want to let a couple of these photos just scroll by, because I'm sad for the family, because this is all they're going to have to remember this little baby boy by. They're never going to know what it's like to hear him say his first words. They're never going to get a chance to watch him eat solid foods like a big boy. They're never going to get a chance to hear him tell a joke. They're never going to get a chance to take him to daycare, preschool, kindergarten, anything like that, man. And it's just a shame that we can't find out. We won't get a chance to watch his first steps. It's just really sad, man, because like I say, I remember what it was like being a father in my mid-20s, and I know how difficult it was, and that's why it scares me to know how we could just continue to keep bringing kids into this world, especially being in our young 20s, and we don't even have our own stuff together. Most of us that are parents or become parents don't have our shit together, and it's a very dangerous way to bring children into this world. And I just encourage for everybody out there to pay attention to these stories and be responsible for your future, and definitely be responsible for the legacy that you leave this world. Sloan had every right to be here and grow up. Sloan Prescott McDaniel, want to wish that beautiful smiling baby a rest in peace, and we wish we could have saw him grow up to be something great. Guys, that wraps our stream up. This is your boy DJ Just Jay. We're the AFC, where we advocate for children first. I would say judgment for Brandon Scott McDaniel. Put him on one of these space missions, launch him to space, and shoot him out the side of the tube and let him breathe and try to suck up space air. I just don't like this at all, man. Launch him to the moon, get rid of him. We don't need people like that in our society. All right, I love you guys. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for listening to the story of this beautiful baby boy, Sloan Prescott McDaniel. Guys, have a great night, and I love you guys. We'll talk to y'all on the next stream, all right? That's the end of the stream. Peace.
Hey there, listeners. Are you looking for authentic design from brands like Louis Vuitton, Prada, Coach, Gucci, Michael Kors, and so much more at a price that you can actually afford? Well, let me introduce you to Nora's Authentic Designer handbags, shoes, and accessories, where we have designs to meet all of your needs. All items are 100% authentic, brand new, and being sold at prices you don't want to miss out on. Find us on Tradesy.com, at Nora's 915, or email us at norasauthenticdesign@gmail.com. Hey there, listeners. Are you looking for authentic design from brands like Louis Vuitton, Prada, Coach, Gucci, Michael Kors, and so much more at a price that you can actually afford? Well, let me introduce you to Nora's Authentic Designer handbags, shoes, and accessories, where we have designs to meet all of your needs. All items are 100% authentic, brand new, and being sold at prices you don't want to miss out on. Find us today on Tradesy.com, at Nora's 915, or email us at norasauthenticdesign@gmail.com.
For the people that want to support our message, and I ask that you guys do that financially, we have a couple of different ways that you guys can do that. one of them being Patreon. And what is Patreon? It's a place where you can come to a website and you can subscribe to my particular platform, the AFC, and you can contribute a small amount of money on a minimum $5. On a maximum, you could absolutely do more, but it takes it out one time a month. It's a very, very easy way and quick way to be able to support. And I'd like to thank all of the people that are already on our Patreon. That link is in the description box if you guys like to check that out. And I also have perks on there that you can take advantage of as well. Also, there's a channel membership, which you guys can also join, which you guys see everybody that has the emojis next to their name. And I'd like to thank everybody who is a channel member, whether you're a moderator or not. More than anything, the channel membership is really, really where it counts as far as our support. And I'd like to thank all of you guys that monthly you contribute to help us out and continue to help and make it easy to do what we do. Also want to give a shout out to a couple of people that donated. First person who donated in the super chat today was, let me see, the 26th, 28th. Keyshawn Johnson, and she said, so honored, and I love this AFC family and Jay for what you do and stand for. And she left a king emoji with a 100 emoji. Thank you so much, Keyshawn Johnson, if you're still listening. Let me see. Jamaica Cassadine sent in a $5 super chat. And she said, hello, AFC. Thank you very much if you're still listening. To Tony Booker sent in a $5 super chat by way of the chat earlier. And I want to say thank you very much. Actually, it was $2. Sorry, I misread that. But thank you. Thank you to Tony Booker if you're still listening. Also, let me go to the PayPal side. If you guys want to utilize those links, I can read any message that you post in there. Go ahead and click those links. It only takes you a second to do that to be able to show us some support here. Let me see if I can say this name. Javanus S. I'm not going to read your entire name out, but sent in a $2. Let me see. That is to the PayPal. So thank you very much. If you're listening, Jay, thank you very much. To Mom's Fur Babies, if you are still listening. She said, you know, I'm always going to support you, not just in words, not just in deeds, but always supporting you with true love and admiration for your undying hard work for the babies. Hashtag AFC. Y'all know her as Mom's Fur Babies. Thank you so much for your support and the amazing message. Kayla P. Also, she always sends something in, and she says, I have, episodic depression too. It's painful and life-consuming, but I'm strong and I will be here for my son come what may. Just like you, stay strong and smart. Knight Rider in the chat, thank you so much for that. I really, truly appreciate you, Knight Rider. So for the people that didn't catch it, I suffer with depression, but I've been suffering from depression pretty much since like 5th grade or so. So it's been a long time. And sometimes I have my bad days, even to the point to where I cannot get up and talk about some of these stories and do a stream. Let me also say thank you. A big shout out earlier, a couple of days ago, Ari Shai sent in a $50 super chat. And I don't know if she's out there listening. She might not even be. Maybe she'll catch this on the replay. But Ari Shai, I wanted to say thank you so much because I think that was her first donation. She came out the gate swinging. Buy-out. Hit us with $50. And I really appreciate that. And send it by way of the super chat. But I will say this. If you guys have anything that goes above $10, I would encourage you guys to either send it to Cash App or PayPal because Google is going to take 30% of that. I'm just saying. And I would much rather the majority of that come directly to the platform, and Cash App and PayPal make that possible, and Venmo. But I still appreciate that anyway, though. Keyshawn sent in a super sticker, a $10 super sticker. Y'all can see it in the chat right there. Said #1 fan, Keyshawn Johnson. What I do is for you guys, and I thank you guys, and I'm so honored to have you guys as an audience, to even be here, to even have somebody that wants to even hear my voice, or see my beard, or see my little crazy shirts, or see my emoji, or anything like that. Man, I thank all of you guys. I really, really, truly do. I cannot tell y'all that enough. If he is still in the chat, my brother Stram, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And he also donated on the 26th as well. So if he's still listening, Stram, I really appreciate you, man. I want to say thank you. Real quick, it says I have to accept. Yes, I would like to accept that. Absolutely. I sure would. I'm going to tell y'all something crazy. I'll tell y'all in a minute. Courtney B, if you're listening, hey, shout yourself out if you're in the chat, Courtney. Courtney B sent in a $10 super chat or a $10 cash app and said, just got here. Peace. Thank you so much. I really, truly appreciate that. Let me see. Don't read aloud. Thank you very much, Manya. I'm not going to read it out loud. Thank you very much. I appreciate your cash app. Jimmy D, if you're out there, Jimmy D, thank you for your cash app, bro. Also to Sean from the last show, thank you to Sean. Said, appreciate you, man. Sean H. Bolo TV donated on the last show. Matter of fact, Courtney donated on the other show. Thank you, Courtney. I didn't even realize that. Yvonne Y donated on the last show, and Tony donated on the last show. I'm going to tell y'all something weird real quick before we, let me see. How do mine come in? Donations come straight. I send. Well, whenever you send them to, you're sending them in the chat. But whenever I say go to the description box, like in the video, like where it says, well, let me see. Maybe I could just post it in there. Give me a second. I could post it in there for you. But I'll show you, Keyshawn. It's either Cash App or PayPal. If you could do it that way, that comes directly to me. But if you send it to the super chat, which is the little icon in the chat, it's cool. And your message shows up really nice and big, which I think is pretty dope. But like I said, Google will take 30% of that off top. So let me see. I'll copy the links for you here. Give me a second. But either way you send it, it's still helpful. I'm definitely not going to say that I don't appreciate it. It doesn't matter whether I get a nickel or a dime, $5 or more than that. I appreciate it however you guys send it, man. Because like I say, what you send, I know comes from your heart. So I really appreciate you guys. I had something weird that happened to me from somebody, $78 Kanika Mike said Lenore Harris killed her sister Kanika Jenkins and sent me a request. They didn't send me no money. They sent me a request for $2,558. I don't know what the hell wrong with them or what made them decide to send that, but I'm sorry, but you niggas got me all the way twisted. Y'all see that? That's not what's in my account. That's what somebody sent me. Oh, thank you, Self-Savior. Appreciate that, bro. Somebody sent me a weird message like that and then requested that I send them $2,558. I ain't got that kind of money in my account. Y'all can kiss my ass. I don't know who the hell that is. Kanika Jenkins. Matter of fact, what's crazy about that, what's even crazier about that is the fact that I have never talked about Kanika Jenkins on my channel.